Let's go ahead and jump into the thesis statement. Thesis statement. Today's thesis, college sports take that I'm going to have to defend is most college basketball teams are wasting their cupcake games. They're wasting their non-conference bunnies, right? The layups. This is inspired by, right? We're starting to look at the teams we cover, Duke, State, UNC, Wake, right? The ACC teams, we're starting to look at them. And there's games like UNC against Kansas tonight. Those are awesome. I commend everyone in the Triangle for scheduling the tough non-conference games really well. But then you look at like Duke playing Army and NC State playing Presbyterian, and I don't even think those are the same. And what I mean by that is Duke playing Army, I think that's a cool game. Army, I've played against Navy when I was in college, football obviously, but playing against the Service Academy is an experience that you remember. It's different than just some other game. NC State versus Presbyterian does nothing for me, right? Other than it's another game, it's another live action, they count, your team's going to get better, but you can do that against so many teams. What does Presbyterian from Clinton, South Carolina bring? Now, yesterday, we talked about how important it is to make sure in whatever sport you coach in college, your players are having a good time. And that doesn't just mean you're fun and you're having pizza parties, but they have to be enjoying themselves, seeing value in being in your program, spending time in your program, getting better, having cool experiences, or else the transfer portal is waiting. The cupcake non-conference games, I believe, are a mostly untapped resource for teams. Sometimes teams like accidentally figure it out. Duke playing Maine to open their season when Cooper Flagg grew up a Maine fan in Maine. That's kind of a cool experience for him, I'm sure. Duke playing Army, like I said, it's cooler. It's different than just bringing in like Bucknell. UNC is playing at the University of Hawaii before they play in the Maui Invitational, which extends their team's trip to Hawaii by a few days. That's good scheduling. You should be looking for value in your non-conference, non-Power 5 games. But I think they can do better. I have some brainstorming. So NC A&T, North Carolina A&T, played Wake Forest last night. That's obviously extremely regional, but UNC should be trying to play NC A&T this year. You'll be saying, why? Well, it's another local game. I like in-state games. But also, Ryan Forrest is a sophomore at A&T, and he played with Elliot Cadeau at Link Academy in high school. That's a cool experience for Elliot Cadeau. That's using a non-conference game where you should win by 30, and instead of just making it a practice, building a memory for one of your players. NC State should be playing UNC Wilmington every year. They should have a 10-year contract. Every year you come to I almost said PNC. You come to the Lenovo Center and play us. Not just because it's in state, but because Kevin Keatts has a history there. He was the coach there. So then Kevin Keatts gets to open up to his team about, hey, this is where I used to coach. They were good to me. I'm loyal. We're going to give them a little pay game. They're going to come down here each and every year. I think you should play an HBCU and have them bring the band like 2 days early every single year. Again, in my playing career at Delaware, we used to play Delaware State, which was an HBCU. They'd bring their band. There'd be a bunch of cool collaborations between our band, which was like 400 people of military precision, and a HBCU band, which they outswagged us by 1 million. But putting them together was a really cool experience. It made it feel different. It wasn't just a non-conference game that we won by 40. If the Warriors play a game in Charlotte, all I'm saying is there should be a fight by the three teams in the Triangle to schedule Davidson in the Triangle the day before or after the Warriors play the Hornets. Because you might just get Steph Curry showing up.
Or play Davidson in the Spectrum Center at noon before that night game.
Make it cool. Yes, exactly. That's another excellent example. Make them cool. Don't make them pushover games that you have to schedule just because they're pushover games and you have to schedule them.
I think NC Central should play Duke every year. You're right there in Durham.
Perfect example. Like, that's linking it. You develop a relationship there. It becomes cool.
Like, literally, all right, guys, let's carpool. Let's go to the game.
it's just sometimes, and by the way, I know scheduling is hard. I'm confused by somebody just tweeted something at me. It is one thing to schedule the top non-conference games, and I like I said, all of the teams in the triangle do that very, very well. I respect them for it because some Big 12 teams especially just don't. Right, so UNC, Kansas. I think Kansas plays all three teams in the triangle in the non-conference, and they're the number one team in the country, which is kind of crazy. I respect that. But I think you can find a little bit more value on the other non-conference games where you expect to win by a bunch and, get everybody in the game.